Howdy, hackers, and welcome to another episode of FairLight TV. My own personal sort of prime time on the X Party was being on stage interviewing Walter Konrad from Double Density / 711 / ZP Verlag. A truly amazing guy doing a lot for the C64 community, especially in the German-speaking parts of the world, but to a quite large extent also well beyond that area. So I recorded that and I bought new microphones, cordless microphones. So I think I recorded the sound super fine, but the picture was absolutely rubbish. It was like a set of stills. So Torsten has done an amazing job in trying to work with that, with the Twitch feed, and also a mobile video feed kindly provided by Marty of Radwar. So super thanks, Marty, for that effort. That was great that you recorded it and that you were also willing to share with it. So this is mainly the recording of Marty. Over to my interview with Walter Konrad.
So, hello everyone. I'm just supposed to be the funny sidekick here. My name is Thomas. And my handle is Freestyle. The probably most thrilling time of my computer scene life I've spent in Illusion. I've been part of the cracking scene. And I did a bit of everything, but I wasn't really good at anything special. So I had my childhood heroes, and one of the cracking groups I really appreciated in Europe first was iCarry, and in Germany there was Strike Force, and then there was 711. So that's a group I personally looked up to, and then fortunately, I bumped into Walter Konrad a few months ago on Facebook, connected with him, and so I just asked him the question, why don't you come to the X Party once? And so he is now here at the X2024, and I'm really glad to have him here. I then asked him, once you take part in the X, why don't we have an interview with you? I'm actually the leader of the cheerleader club in Switzerland from 711, and that was a convincing argument for Walter to actually make himself available for this interview. I thought we need to have somebody on eye level leading the interview, so I reached out to Pontus, to Bacchus, and I asked him, are you in as well for this great event? And he said, of course I am. And so that was my sidekick, and I would really like to hand over now to Bacchus and to Walter for the next couple of minutes.
May I interrupt you?
Thank you so much, Thomas. And I only said yes to this interview, so I can ask Thomas 2 questions. Thomas, I need to ask you 2 questions. Are you really here, or is it just an illusion? Oh, okay. Well, I do have an additional question as well.
Okay.
Did you actually write the script for that, or did you just freestyle?
Thank you. As I said, I'm not really good at... I do a lot of things, but I don't really have any special talent, so I hand over to you now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Welcome everybody. So we've already been properly introduced, but humble thanks to Walter. We share interests. We share interest in C64s, but our main interest is also the same. We share a passion for bacon. So every time Walter sees something related to bacon on Facebook, he tags me, and I'm doing him the same credit. So that goes on for years now. Great. So let's do the first school book, the CV kind of things. You've been known as Walter for most of your career, so you basically took your own personal name, but that's not your original handle, is it?
It is in fact, it's my original handle. I think someone said I was
Harry.
It was never hairy. It was always water.
Okay. I was sort of hoping it was dirty Harry, but no, not even that.
Harry. Harry. Harry.
Harry. Yeah, that's a long time ago. And Marcus, you are not in a position to have an opinion on that. All right. So let's take this from the very, very beginning. You started out really early. So in 1986, you were in Megasoft, and you had a number of good friends in the neighborhood. Tell us about Megasoft.
Well, it just started with a school friend, Mr. Lee. Ralph is not here, but it basically started with him. We started doing some demos, cracking a few games, which ended that we joined Warriors of Darkness a while later. It was a fun time, but we split with them, and Ralph came up with the idea to start with a new group, 7-Eleven.
Right. So we know already in 1988 where you started 7-Eleven, and that was from the ashes of Warriors of Darkness. And you had a number of other rather known guys in 7-Eleven. Antitrack was there, right?
Antitrack, almost the whole team of Cosmos joined. They left a little bit later, but we were like 10 guys running 7-Eleven.
Right. Well, to me, Cosmos is mainly like a demo group. For me, they were never really a cracking group, but I guess I'm wrong there. So if Antitrack was in the group, I'm sure they did crack.
They didn't crack, but they did a lot of almost all the intros. Demos were done with them.
Right, and one of the other events we actually participated in together was the Ikari Sargon party in 1989, and we are seeing the legendary four-screen intro there that you released.
Yeah.
Walter loves Nick.
Legendary one. When now moving a bit forward, we're now into 1989, and double density became a thing. Could we swap to the double density demo now? Yes. There is music. Yeah, super nice. So code here by Mr. Cursor, graphics by Example, and music by Marcus Schneider, who I know is in the room, right?
Thanks, Marcus.
Great work, Marcus. So tell us a bit about this, and tell us the advent of double density here.
Well, it started all with I was working for Magic Disc and Game On, and we were looking for programmers to do some more professional games, and that's why we started with Double Density as a label of Magic Disc. And well, Ivo Herzeg, Mr. Cursor, was big part of all the Magic Disc and stuff, and he did this demo, and that's how we got in touch with a lot of programmers. Many of the guys are here, and I'm very thankful for the time and for the contribution.
Yeah. And I mean, this demo was basically a marketing thing for Double Density to kind of attract people to send in their stuff.
Right. It was never meant to be a company to sell titles. It was just to get some more professional games for Magic Disc, Game On, Golden Disc.
So let's jump back a little bit here. So you went to the Madonna Cracking Group party, and what happened there? We have a few things that really happened, because that is, first of all, it's sort of the advent of double density, or the seed was planted there, but another thing happened there as well.
Well, when it came to that party in Mal, I think it was 88, we saw the place was crowded with police, and we tried to get away with the car, but at the end, we were,
You were busted, right?
We were busted.
Trying to drive away from the police.
Anyway. They took our personal data. They didn't get my address book because I put it in my trousers. I was lucky. But that was the day when it all started with
Now it
the
smells a
more
bit.
or less legal career. We met with Christian Geldentot.
Yep.
At the time, the manager for Magic Disc, and he was searching for. He knew my name, and he was searching for someone to contribute to the Magic Disc. And a couple of weeks later, I was a freelancer for Magic Disc, and like half a year later, I was a full employee.
So tell about Magic Disc. What was it? I mean, normally you would have, in many other countries, you would have a magazine that had like a cover disc or something, but this was sort of a cover disc without the magazine, wasn't it?
This was a cover disc without paper.
Yeah.
Just a cover with a full disc. It was mainly in Germany, Switzerland, and Austria, and it was a menu system with some reviews, game reviews, text. And a lot of games and tools from the scene.
Yeah. Right, and do tell, what is the relation between CP Verlag and Computec Verlag and Double Density? Which is which and how do they relate?
CP Verlag was for the C64 part, Computec was for Amiga, PC, Atari ST, and Double Density was for between everything.
Okay, so that was sort of your marketing label
It
for...
was only a marketing label.
And you became a regular employee in like 1990, and so that was what you did.
Yeah.
You gathered stuff for Magic Disc. For me, it's absolutely incredible that you had a market that was big enough to attract people to send in their stuff and people to subscribe to that and be ready to pay for that.
Well, went a lot of sales, as I said, throughout the German-speaking region, and at the end of '92, I think, we started selling Amiga with a disc on in the UK. It failed at the end, but it sold.
Yeah. And I mean, for us, not being natively German speaking, I'm also really amazed that you have like a market that was big enough to sustain such a product. Most of the other countries would need basically English speaking products because that was sort of, you could sell that globally, but Germany you could only sell in the German speaking part of the world. And to be honest, it's not that big. So.
Wow, it was big enough to have good sales.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And you had...
How many sales did you do from Magic Disc, Game On, Phone Disc?
About 40,000-50,000
Per month?
per month.
That's a lot. So, and you referenced Mr. Cursor, Ivo, here before. He helped you a lot with a bit of this, right?
He helped a lot. He was a good friend before, during the 7-Eleven time, and he came up with the idea of a menu system. So I really had, it was easy to create a new magazine, a new issue every month, because I just had this menu system, could finish everything. He made that master disc that was shipped to Nuremberg, and they just put it in the copy machines.
And Nuremberg was the head office, and that's where they had the duplication and stuff, I guess, as well. So and Magic Disc was the main product, but what the Golden Disc, what was that then?
Gold Disc was just for the special games, which was meant to release the high quality games we got from Double Density.
Was that a special subscription, or did you buy it separately, or?
What do you mean?
If you were a consumer and you wanted to get access, I mean, Magic Disc, I had a subscription, right? So I got
It was on a subscription. It was a subscription, or you could buy it in the newspaper store.
Okay.
Magic Disc, Game On, Gold Disc.
And Game On, what was Game On then?
Games only.
Games only.
Magic Disc was basically some tools and stuff, but Game On was only for games.
Right. I do have a, yeah?
Was Golden Disc the one with the lowest influence and Game On the most? Or was Magic Disc because of the tools especially?
The Magic Disc was the main product. Yeah. With the highest sales.
I do have a special note here that I would like you to explore on, and that is Mr. Cursor and his oxygen cylinder. What is that?
One day I was going to his place, it's like half an hour to go in Heidelberg, and I was going to his room, and he was sitting there with an oxygen cylinder. I was scared, but that was when he worked under pressure.
Yeah.
That was how he worked. With an oxygen cylinder.
Timex.
And that's probably how he found how to do Timex.
Yes.
That's why I never defeated Timex, because I didn't have any oxygen cylinders, I guess. So
That's the solution.
right.
Guys, think about it.
So, if you look at the number of releases, there are like 30 plus games. And to be honest, I think some of them are tagged a bit wrong. Some of them are tagged with you as a producer, some with double density, and some with CP for lag, and some with Computex. So, I think Lemon Amiga and Lemon 64 should revise their data a bit, because it's sort of the same thing, right?
Or ask me to revise this.
Walter is ready to support you in updating the data.
Just change everything to Cherry software.
All right. So I have a note of like 30 plus games for the C64. Any favorite amongst those?
Don't ask me.
Ah, okay. You never played the game, right?
I played some, but not me alone.
And Guardians 2, I think it was, with Timex 3. That was nearly impossible to crack.
I don't know. I was not on the illegal side.
Any longer? Yeah. So, and Amiga 5 games. I have something referenced on Amigo. No, it has to be on Amiga, right? And you also did stuff on Atari.
We tried to find out if there's a market for Atari. It failed.
Yeah.
We stopped with Atari just with a one test issue because there were no sales, basically.
Yeah, we have the same in Sweden. So you have like Commodore machines and or Commodore magazines, and they had an annex for Atari ST, but it drove the Commodore computing segment mad that they had Atari in there, and it wasn't justified. They didn't have enough market.
It didn't work out.
All right. So from 93 to 95, you bundled with Game On. What happened then? What happened?
Well, the sales were going down on the C64 market, so we bundled the magazines, and it was clear that it's going to end this area.
And that was the C64 stuff you bundled with Game On. And then the PC side you bundled with Playtime.
Yeah.
And then it became basically like a normal magazine with one of those cover
Playtime
discs.
was a normal magazine, printed magazine, with just add-on with a disc with games and tools.
And I do have here that you referenced before that the peak was around 80,000 issues.
All sales together, Amiga or PC.
That's still good. That's absolutely good. Congratulations for a work well done. And then 95 to 96, Magic Disc Classics. What is that?
That was when I was out of Computec. The whole company was sold to Magna Media, and they bundled with 64 magazine.
Yeah. Right. So, and for those of you who don't know it, 64 or 64 is the sort of the leading paper magazine.
It was a paper magazine. Yeah.
Great one. I really hated my poor German when I saw it, because I understood I really would have wanted to read it, but I couldn't. So in '96, Magna Media bought CP Verlag, and that was the entire thing, the CP Verlag and Computec and all of it, right?
They merged everything to Magna Media.
Yeah. Was that just about the time where you left this, or?
Correct.
Okay, so that's part of that. And you formed your own gaming company.
Started my own gaming company out of some of you guys.
Yeah.
And a few years later, I heard that you were contributing to one of the games. Sword of Honor.
We are kidding. So the company was Prestige, and you were still sort of selling your stuff to Magic Disc and Double Density.
We did some games for Double Density, for Gold Disc, Amigo, and we tried to sell just as a normal software company, with not so much success.
So, being a lawyer, I'm sort of curious. Double Density, is that your brand or is it owned by CP Verlag? CP Verlag. So you couldn't continue using it?
I couldn't continue.
That's a bit of a bummer. So I have here.
Also, all of the programmers for Double Density do not own the copyright for their stuff. Right.
So this is the game Sword of Honor, and this is where you had a number of platforms where you did that, right?
Yeah, the Sword of Honor was done by a Swedish team,
Yep.
Dynafil Systems, and as I said, a few years later I heard you were contributing the loader for the 64 version.
Eureka!
I did the loader for the C64 version. It works fine on 1541, 1571, and also 1581. I've never seen any version of the game, so this is the first copy I've seen. It's a PC CD one. If we look at the other games, so Caption and Dofus, that's also games you released. But then you were also commissioning games. You had companies wanting games branded under their brand.
Yeah, we did some, for Kingsoft, we did some branded games, Locomotion, someone may heard, or...
Langenese?
Locomotion, yeah.
So, the ice cream company
Langenese.
No, there was the advertisement games.
Yeah, okay.
Langenese ice cream company, I think in...
My thirsty.
Yeah.
Me too.
Okay.
Fuck you.
And you did something for German Army as well, Heli Rescue.
Yeah, they came with an idea to get some people to subscribe for the German Army, and they came up with the idea for a game where you rescue people with a helicopter.
Okay, so we want more people in the German Army, let's release a Commodore 64 game. That's a bit of a surprise. But
I don't have the numbers, how many people subscribed or joined the German Army.
Now it will be more smart, because now we need cyber soldiers. Back then there wasn't really any cyber soldiers. Yeah. And you Knorr, for me that's soup.
That's soup.
Soup game.
That's a soup. A soup game was just for the advertisement.
And you did Sony Walkman game as well.
Yeah, when Sony came out with the Walkman, I put a team together to do a game for them.
Great, and basically you left the gaming industry in '97, so you are now Connexco.
Yeah.
So, and what does that company do?
System house doing network management for customers.
Anything people are really ready to pay for, related to IT basically.
Right. No games, nothing out of the business. Just for fun here.
Yeah. Super. So, and I'd like to conclude this with throwing out a number of names that I picked up during sort of reading about and reading about you and reading all the previous interviews and the talk we had. So let's start with Mr. Cursor. What is sort of his role in your professional career around C64?
Wow.
Great coder.
Great coder, great friend. Unfortunately, I don't have any contact with him anymore. When he started to join Crytek, we lost contact. So if you hear me,
yeah, Ivo, I'm interested to interview you on FairLight TV as well. Just get in contact. I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, and then there is this hairy guy, Markus Widerstein. What about him?
Wow. He's here.
Yes.
He's a good friend, like an old friend. In fact, a very old friend.
Yes,
Older
he is
than you,
very
friend.
old.
Together with the other guys from Radwar.
Yeah. Great. I find him a bit too young because he's already a week younger than I am. So I'm playing with kids and I'm playing with him. So Hannes Sommer. One of the guys, Hannes Sommer.
Hannes Sommer. He was doing a lot of games for Magic Disc, Game On. I don't know what he's doing today. You know?
They had I should have researched this better, but as far as I know, they had a game that was sort of well developed but not really finalized. But eventually now, like half a year ago, Yaskat eventually convinced them to actually conclude it after like 30 years.
A game with a 30 years development.
I think I cracked Nibli 93, which is an historic game. So Alexander, Antitrack.
Yeah.
One of the cracking friends from 7-Eleven days. Any contact with him today?
No.
No. Let's beta skip over that.
We'll bring him next time.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. One of the guys you actually mentioned in an interview is Alan, the Hobbit.
Where's Alan? Hi, my friend.
One of the real legends. There is nothing more to add, it's just legendary. Jens Hultgren, Dynafield Systems in Malmö.
The guy from Dynafield Systems who did Sword of Honor. You know him?
Yeah, I do.
He was doing games for Magic Disc as well, and he came very often he came to Germany to pick up his check, basically. I don't know why, because maybe he loved to travel. He came by train from Sweden to Frankfurt, we met, and he was returning like an hour later.
And the check was basically big enough to cover the train ride back and forth, I guess.
Obviously, yeah.
Super. Yeah, and then another dude, Willy Beckel.
Willy Becker.
What do you have to say about him?
Only good things. Good friend. Very nice guy.
Yeah, so old and so much hair. How does he do it?
I don't know.
He got all my hair.
So, Steve Coops.
Yeah.
And some controversial games. Could we elaborate on that?
First of all, rest in peace.
Yeah, we shouldn't talk about people who are not bad about people who aren't here anymore. But you did have a bit of an issue with a few of his products.
We had a bit of issues because he was doing some adventure games, text-based adventures with some nasty answers with text. We didn't find out before we released the games. At the end, we got calls from parents who played the games or saw the text.
Parents playing adventure games. Gamers don't play adventure
because
games.
kids told their parents, "Look at this, what comes up here." It was a really big problem because I got a call from the manager from CP Verlag, and with some serious talks.
That's when he lost his hair.
Yeah, I see the issue.
That's why I lost all my hair.
Sebastian Poghammer.
Sebastian, a very good friend, very nice guy. He did. He was doing codes for the labels for 7-Eleven, and he was
Bike rider, I should say, as well.
Yeah, he was the team partner of Steve Coops for the games.
Okay, super. Dario Krobat.
Same. He did some games. Marcus knows him, Gotcha, and he did also some games for Magic Disc, I think. There were so many.
Yeah. So we are naming a number of the key contributors to the Magic Disc content here, so that's sort of where we are. Jens Christian Hus, JCH, one of the legendary musicians. He was also doing a lot of the music stuff for you, right?
Yeah.
Stefan Hartwig.
Same. Many games. I think I never met him in person. I'm not sure.
Probably at digital marketing.
Probably at digital marketing with Marcus Widerstein.
Yeah. It's really interesting. So many friends you have. How few times you actually met them, and you're still considering them really close friends. I still cannot explain this to my wife how that could be.
Because they did so much for all of us. They helped to develop our friendship.
Yeah.
And to help us where we are right now.
Yeah. We had this talk before, earlier today, the friends with computers and computer friends. You start out with computer friends, you have a common interest, and that is the computer, but eventually you can sort of throw away the computer and you can bond over other things, like bacon. And Marcus Schneider is also one of the guys we need to mention. He was already cheered at, but let's Marcus also did a lot of good music for you, right?
He did a lot of good music for his own games, for Magic Disc, for other projects. So very good.
Super.
Awesome stuff of a Magic Disc.
Lots of Sonics.
Thomas and Michael Detelt.
Same here. Both are not here, unfortunately, but they're good friends. Really did some awesome stuff for many of our demos, games, Magic Disc, everything. Example.
Yes.
Example.
And then we have Super Mario Van Zeist.
Where's Mario?
I only met him in 1989, and I haven't met him since, but one of the really skilled
I met
coders.
him last time at the barbecue, and
Lost in the brains.
Genau. So, Walter, that's actually my sort of lame question.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.